Let's get going. Oh, I am so excited to get on here and discuss some major topics. Some topics that are probably on your mind. However, you're just probably saying, I don't know. And then you get distracted and move on to something else. So come on in the room. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I am excited. Let's see who's in already. Love it. All right, make sure when you enter, please let us know exactly where you're located. Well, probably not exactly, but let us know the state or the country so I can say hello and know where you're visiting from. We're going to discuss some topics that are like hot topics. And it's been a while since I've been on, so let's dive into it. Feel free to comment, to share your thoughts because it's about discussion. Let's go. So topic number 1, acknowledging people when you enter the room. I don't know why it just irks me. It's one of my pet peeves. When I'm sitting in a room and someone enters the room and they don't say a thing. That is rude. You know me. Let's talk. So when you enter a room where people already exist, it's proper etiquette to greet them. You don't just enter a room and not speak. The people in the room were already there. You're entering their space. So therefore, proper protocol is for you to walk in the room, hello everyone, or good morning everyone, even if it's one person, good morning, something to show that you have some sort of manners. Let me know in the comment if that has ever happened to you. You're sitting in a room or you're with others in a room and someone enters and they don't say a word. Now, there are times when it calls for you to just be quiet, okay? Depending on what's happening. If there's a meeting in session, you don't walk in, hi everyone, that's rude. Or if you're a student and you walk into a class and the teacher is instructing or everyone's taking a test, you walk in discreetly, quietly, and go to your seat. However, if it is permitted to speak when you enter the room. Tell me what you think about that. In addition, let me know where you're located. Nisa from Pakistan, welcome. You all share with me what you think about that. People just entering a room and not saying a word to the folks who are already there. I mean, that's a major ill-mannered behavior. So let me know what you think. Type in the comments. All right? All right, before I go on to the next topic, I need to hear what you all think. Has this happened to you? And if it happened to you, how did you react? What did you do? I'm not seeing any comments. There's something going on here. Oh, by the way, while you're in the session, you will see an opportunity to drop some stars. These stars are to help pay for an absolutely free class for students in a less fortunate area. There's a corridor in the Fort Lauderdale area that I want to get into and conduct some classes, and your stars will contribute to that. Hi, Shanine, watching from Belize. Love it. Irene from Dallas. Love it. All right, thank you so much. Okay, so no one has anything to say about sitting in a room and someone entering the room and they not speak with you. Come on, I know my people like to comment. Everyone who follows likes to comment, so let me know. Okay, so while we're waiting on some comments for that, here's another concern I'm that really drives me crazy. And when someone greets you, let's say you're sitting and someone enters the room and they come to you and they greet you, proper etiquette, if you're physically able, proper etiquette is to stand. You don't have the individual standing and you're sitting, looking up. Hi, how are you? If you are able to stand at their level, stand. That's proper etiquette. You don't just sit there and have a full-blown conversation with the person while they're standing. Stand and meet them eye to eye. That's proper manners. Charlene Pierce says it's bad manners to enter a room and not speak. Absolutely. Oh, Charlene is in DC. Hello. Jan is in Arizona. Ozzy from, okay, I can't pronounce that. Is it Poughkeepsie? You're still a Southern girl, and you typically speak when you enter. Absolutely. Very, very important. So therefore, now we're on this topic where we're talking about standing when someone is speaking. It's important to be at eye level. Unless you're unable to stand, of course, that person will understand and see the situation you're in, right? Otherwise, stand and have eye contact and communicate with the folks. Okay. Any comments on that? Has that ever happened to you? Share with me, because we're on this chat and we need to talk. Share with me what you think about that. Okay, we're going down the line. Another one is introducing others properly instead of just saying their name. So for example, if I say, this is Jan. Okay, you're probably saying, who's Jan? That means when you introduce someone, you include their name and their relationship to you or the business. You do not just say, this is Jan, because I'm wondering who is Jan in this equation. So for example, if we're at work, hello, meet Jan, our CEO. No, let's say, not the CEO. Let's say, meet Jan, our coworker. Put it that way. Because if it's CEO, more than likely you would use an honorific and their surname. So therefore you'd say, meet Jan, our coworker. You do not just say, meet Jan. Always follow with the relationship. Meet Jan, our coworker. Hey, that answers the question. And then you would say, Jan, meet so-and-so, my friend or my coworker, or whatever it may be. So always include the name and the relationship. Pamela says, unfortunately, people who need etiquette training are probably not the ones watching this. You're absolutely right, Pamela. Catrice says, hello from Cincinnati, Ohio. Hello. Gracefully Refined. Hi. Good morning, Jackie. Yes. Love to see you. Helen says, good manners to stand and greet the person following. Yes, you're following from Kenya. Yes. Okay, so those are some great topics that we're talking about. Now here's another one. Putting your phone completely away when you're dining. I think we have encountered an epidemic, and I'm only speaking about America. I'm sure that this has become a pandemic in the world because cell phones are everywhere. However, I've experienced countless times when a couple or an entire family is dining at a restaurant and everyone's on their phone. No one is communicating. No one is verbalizing anything. Everyone's on their phone. They're even on their phone when they're eating. They're holding their phone in their left or right hand, whichever is your non-dominant, and they're eating. And no one is communicating. That is a problem. Communication has been tossed out the window, and everyone is like distracted with devices. What really bothers me even more is when a family is out, or mom and dad or whomever is out with a child, and the child is on the tablet the entire dining experience. The adults are not communicating with the child. No one's communicating with the child. The child is just there on a tablet. Something is broken in our society. Let's talk about it. Let me know your thoughts, because I strongly believe that needs to change. Sophia, Hi, love your videos. Thank you, Sophia. I've learned so much from them. Thank you so much. Sophia's in Florida, my neck of the woods. Ozzy, I do. My younger peers told me they are not going to put their phone away. Ages 60s and younger. What? Talk to me, folks. This is a topic that everyone needs to discuss. It really bothers me when I see these children dining with family and no one is speaking to them except the tablet, except social media or YouTube. They've got to learn how to converse while dining with others. Of course, you don't speak while you're chewing. We know that. However, in between, have conversations. So, how was your week? How is so-and-so? Have conversations. Encourage your child to initiate conversation. Show them how to initiate a conversation. We've got to do that. Keep in mind that a child will not be a child forever. They will grow up just like you and I did. So therefore, we must teach them how to converse with folks. Teach them while you're dining, while you're having a meeting, while you're interacting with others. Learn how to initiate conversations so that you can get to know people. That's the key. Sophia says, I absolutely agree with you. Dining times should be used to update each other and socialize. Absolutely. I recall once taking out a group of children, which I do it frequently. However, this particular group of children, I took them out to dine at a 5-star restaurant, which is what I do, as mentioned. And there were about 24 students. However, there were 2 girls who were on their cell phone. I didn't notice at the time. However, I noticed a few minutes later, they were on their cell phone and they were texting each other. Mind you, both were sitting at the table. There was someone between the 2. However, instead of them speaking to each other, of course, at a decent tone and volume, they decided to just text each other. So when I saw the young lady who was closest to me, I said to her, you need to put the phone away. And she honestly said to me, and I'm talking about a high school student, she honestly said to me, well, how else will I speak with her? Oh, poor baby. I said, you can literally speak the words. Have a conversation. She was completely oblivious to knowing how to have a conversation. She's such a sweet young lady. However, she was not taught that verbal communication is definitely something that can take place when you're sitting, when you're dining, when you're engaging each other physically. You may speak as well. And so I informed her, and they put the phone away. Both of them had a wonderful time having verbal conversations. And so we have to do that. We have to teach our children how to speak, how to communicate, how to engage, how to have a great time with others without the device. And you know what? Many of our adults need to know that as well. And we need to begin to practice that. So Fleet Affairs for You says, it's not just the children. Yes, adults are on the cell phones. I've been out with people and at the table, they are on their cell phones. No conversations. So rude, so rude, so rude. However, the problem is that many do not realize that it is rude. It is just a lifestyle for them. It is just the way they do things. So until we bring things to the forefront and we begin to discuss these things, then there won't be a change. Incidentally, if you want to join this industry of etiquette and teach etiquette and do what I do internationally, you definitely need to join my next certification masterclass, which begins September 22nd, which is just in a few days. If you're interested, please type this website, from the inside out, SOE.com. Head over to my website and register to join our 5-week course. Now, it is done via Zoom and our online modules. So don't worry, wherever you are in this world, you may join us. It's from the inside out, SOE.com, and then click Become Certified and register. Join me September 22nd. Let's get on board because we need you to spread the word. I almost said spread the gospel. That's what we do, right, as Christians. However, we need you to spread the word about etiquette, and I am going to walk you step by step, personally, walk you step by step. We're going to cover so many topics. You're going to have already created professional presentations to teach these topics. So head over. If someone could type it in the comments, I'm unable to do that. www.fromtheinsideout.soe.com. Click that link and register for our certification class. Now, Coco says, I am bothered by segregating the children from the main dining table. Yes, that too. It depends also on how many children, because if there are a group of children, you kind of, oh, thank you, gracefully refined School of Etiquette, my lady. All right, so yes. So it depends. During Thanksgiving, if there are like a great number of children, you kind of want them to interact and have a great time with each other, especially if they haven't seen each other in quite a while, because, you know, family, they're coming in from town and they haven't interacted. So if there are a great number of children, have that children's table where they all can have a great time. However, if there are 1 or 2 children or so, a small number, make sure they're interacting with the adults. Put them at the table with everyone so everyone can have a great conversation and they don't feel isolated or less valued. Ooh, that's major. You never want the children to feel like they have no value. That's not good. All right. Thank you, ladies, for posting the website. So click that website and also click Become Certified to register for our certification class. Again, it starts September 22nd. Okay, so here's another topic. We're going topic by topic. Here's another one. Writing thank you letters. When was the last time you wrote a thank you letter? Very, very important. Following up. Hey, thank you so much for the opportunity to meet with you, or thank you for taking us out, or thank you for inviting us to dinner. We had a great time. Let's get back into the habit of literally writing thank you cards. Listen, thank you cards are everywhere. The dollar store, Amazon, Walmart, they're everywhere. And we've got to just, hey, pick up a box of thank you cards. You never know when you need to send a thank you card. I mean, we've got to get back in some of our traditional old school ways because they work. Many of them still work. And it says something about you because we're in this world of technology, devices, everything electronic. When you go a step ahead or a step above and you send a thank you card, it kind of makes an impression, actually. It makes a great impression. It says this person took time to actually purchase the card, write in the card with an actual pen, and they literally mailed it. That's huge. So we can get into the habit. Not saying you have to do it every day for everyone. However, just doing that thank you card makes a big difference. And that invitation, everything doesn't have to be digital. We don't have to follow what everyone does at all times just to fit in. Stand out sometimes. Stand out. Tell me what you think about that. When was the last time you sent a thank you card? Sophia says, you should definitely become a step up scholarship provider for the state of Florida. We'll get a lot of business. Look into the scholarship step up. Thank you so much. I'm writing that down. Scholarship step up. Thank you so much, Sophia. I'm definitely going to check that out. I appreciate it. All right. So yeah. So tell me, what do you think about giving thank you notes? Because this is what we need to do sometimes. We need to get back to old school ways of doing some things. All right. Now, dressing appropriately for the setting. Now, I don't know if you saw lately a video that's been circulating on social media. I'm sure many of you have seen it, where a young lady appeared in court wearing a hair bonnet. And she was wearing a sleeveless something, I'm not sure, but it was not appropriate. And the judge actually said he was offended because of how she showed up in court. It showed that she totally did not respect him. That was his feeling. Now, you tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. She mentioned during the hearing, she mentioned to the judge that she expected to have a visit. She expected to come to the courthouse, and it was just a visit, not a hearing. However, she was actually going into a public building, a government building, out in public, and she still wore the hair bonnet and a very casual sleeveless top, or we were not able to see the bottom. So I can only speak on the top. Tattoos showing and everything. What do you think about that? Now, we're not being judgmental because I don't know her personally. I'm sure she's a sweet young lady. However, we're talking about the appearance, which communicates as well. What were your thoughts? If you saw the video or if you're hearing what I'm saying, tell me what you think. The judge was so offended where it seemed like he just didn't even want to take the time. Now, what I think is that when you show up, especially for something that important, whether it is a visit in the building or a court hearing, your attire, everything about you from head to toe should say, I'm seeking grace. It should say, I respect you. I respect this process. I respect what is about to happen. Tell me what you think. Sophia says, I think ladies should always present themselves well when going out. Absolutely. Not only ladies, men as well. It's a human being thing. When you leave your home, it's about your appearance. It is communicating. So thank you, Sophia, for sharing that. What do you all think? Was it okay for her to show up in the court building? We're not even talking about the hearing because she didn't expect to actually go to court. What do you think about showing up in a building or going out in public wearing a hair bonnet and completely unprepared and as far as her attire is concerned? Gracefully Refined said, I think so many really just don't know. Unfortunately, because she innocently explained to the judge that she did not expect to stand in front of him, paraphrasing. So she really didn't know. And so that's a concern because we've got to share, and we're speaking about an adult. We've got to share as much as possible the importance of verbal and nonverbal communication. Your attire, your posture, your hair, your facial expression, everything outside of verbalizing your words communicates something. So when she showed up in court and the judge saw her, he was very bothered. And I can understand. Jennifer says, I have not seen the video, and I am not saying just because people go out in public dressed inappropriately have mental health issues. But do we know this about her? I have no idea. She spoke very eloquently. Yes, she was very clear. And so I would not say that. I would simply say, in addition to a couple of you, that she probably just innocently did not know that that attire was inappropriate. And so that is why we have to spread the word. That's another reason I need you all to join this industry. So we as etiquette consultants can spread the word, informing folks that this is not appropriate. This is what we should do. This is not what you should do. This is what you need to pivot to, so that we can grow as a people, as human beings. We can grow and have more pride in ourselves and show that we respect ourselves and we respect the individuals we engage with. How do you feel about that? Pravina said, unfortunately, you are judged by your appearance, no matter where you go. Absolutely. It is the thing people see and cannot be undone until they get to know you. That's it. You never get a second chance for first impression. So if you give someone a first impression, please make sure it's in your benefit, because sometimes you may not have an opportunity to shift that impression. However, that person walks away with that first impression they had. It's just something that is going to totally destroy any opportunity you may have in the future. So just always keep in mind that your appearance speaks, and your appearance is something that is added to your first impression. Okay? All right. From the inside out, during the broadcast, you may support us definitely with buying stars to help with a free class that we'd like to conduct. We've done it 2 times already. We'd like to do it another, where we conduct a class for the less fortunate in a corridor that we have here in Fort Lauderdale. Less fortunate children there, and we want to make sure that they can access our etiquette classes. So if you feel compelled to buy some stars, they're only a penny each. Let's buy some real stars so we can pay for this class and be able to facilitate and have some products and gifts to give to these students. So jump on board. Now, keep in mind, our next certification masterclass begins September 22nd. So please join us. Click the link. You see the link somewhere in the comments. However, you can head over to our website, www.fromtheinsideoutsoe.com. Click Become Certified and join our masterclass. It is a 5-week course, 5 weeks, and you have the opportunity to go through our private modules. You will meet with me as well via Zoom. So you may join us from anywhere in the world. So head to my website, fromtheinsideoutsoe.com. Click Become Certified and register to become an etiquette consultant. We start September 22nd. You don't want to miss, okay? Now, our final topic is using people's name during the conversation to build connection. Not only that, to help you remember their name. Who has an issue sometimes with remembering folks' name? It's like, okay, you don't want to say, what was your name again? Definitely not. So for example, I'm at an event and I meet someone and we have a great conversation. However, I've met several people at this event, and it happens often for me. Now I'm at another event several months later, and this person comes to me, "Hi, Jackie, it's so good to see you again." What you don't want to do is say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. Do you mind?" No. No one likes to know that you've forgotten them. You don't want to forget anyone. If you happen to forget their name, do not make it seem as if you've forgotten them. So therefore, when they approach you, "Hi, Jackie, it's so good to see you." "Hi, it's good to see you as well." Because clearly they're expressing in a way that tells that they've communicated with you before. They've met you before. So roll with the punches, okay? And that's what we have to do. Until their name happened to come up somehow where you would say, "Oh, please give me your phone number," or share your phone number with me. You definitely don't want to. Excuse me. You definitely don't want to say, oh, I forgot you. What is your name again? So make sure you are on top of the game. Don't allow someone to make you feel as if you don't remember them. Okay? All right? So do whatever you have to do. Use the name in the conversation as often as possible. Make sure it's appropriate so that you will remember the person's name the next time. Use something to identify them for the next time, but don't cause someone to feel as if they were forgotten, because that's not proper etiquette. Okay, remember, register for our certification masterclass, www.fromtheinsideoutsoe.com. Join the etiquette industry, and I'll see you in the next live. Bye.